Morning everybody, we are out here picking up one of our twisted road bikes and we thought it might be kind of cool to show you the process in case you've never rented, and that right there is the Super Duke we are picking up today. We're going to be doing a little bit of filming with it, and as per usual, when we get one of our bikes it's always from Twisted Road, and I am very excited to spend the day with this motorcycle here. This is definitely a legend. So let's get some information, let's get the license pictures taken care of, let's get on the road.
Now this is a bike.
It's a fucking real bike, baby.
All right, where did Spike go? Is that him back there?
I'm catching up. Something tells me that this scrambler was not exactly built to compete with the likes of that motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So how's it feel your first time on the Super Duke?
Man, it's insane how it just feels like a really big Duke 390. And not in terms of dimensions, but just how powerful it is. Literally, if I'm mid-corner and I just get on the gas a little bit, the whole thing twists and wants to lift the front end. It's a really raucous kind of motorcycle, no kidding.
It's definitely one of the most exhilarating rides out there, I think.
The thing that dominates this motorcycle for me is its torque, man. It's just crazy how much grunt it has.
108 foot-pounds, man. That is more than the Hayabusa in a bike that weighs 100 pounds less.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about it, and you know, we often joke about how the Hayabusa is just like a beginner rider killer and this and that, but this is really a bike that could absolutely lop a beginner's head off.
Oh, totally.
I mean, throttle control is an absolute must on this thing. If you give it even a wick extra throttle mid-corner, it's doing a lot, you know? It's doing a whole lot. Like, if I gave it maybe 5% throttle there and the whole thing lurches.
It's one of those bikes where you don't have to be in the right gear either. It just rips forward no matter where you are.
Like, I actually want to test that. I'm going to put it in 5th gear going 47. It's currently vibrating like crazy because it's too low. But I just want to see what it does here. Yep,
I can't keep up with you.
It doesn't matter what gear I'm in. God damn, man.
How's it feel to you going through these corners? To me, it was unbelievable how agile it felt.
It's nice, but I would like to tweak the suspension a little bit. It's a little twitchy mid-corner for me. I don't feel like it settles really well, but that could just be due to the fact that the engine's so goddamn torquey.
It's so far ahead, I can't keep up. There goes the Cardos. No! Come back!
I lost you again, Spite. I'm so sorry.
I'm trying all I can do to keep up with you, and this thing just can't do it. It looks so good going down the road, man. That is such a mean-looking motorcycle.
Yeah, jeez, this thing's a weapon.
That's the thing about that LC8 motor, is it doesn't rev slowly at all. It's just, you're instantly picking up the pace. It's so cool.
And it makes power all the way to the top, man. Like, that's awesome. A lot of V-twins that have a big low-end grunt, kind of like the Hyper Motard 1100, that big air-cooled V-twin that Ducati makes. You know, they make all that torque down low and then they kind of peter out. This somehow stitches together like old school torque feel plus like ridiculous top end, like truly ridiculous top end.
It's definitely, my buddy has nicknamed that throttle the hand of God. And you really do feel it when you get it going.
Yeah, you do. Jeez. Like right here, this little mini... Golly, dude.
Is it still in street mode?
It is.
We gotta get it in sport mode for you.
Oh, it wasn't even in sport mode. All right, yeah, let's get that going.
It wasn't even in sport mode.
I'm in sport mode now, baby.
Sport mode's real business. It's even more. So how do you feel about the Super Duke as a beginner bike? Has it dethroned the Turbo Busa?
You know, I think it has. I think if you're a discerning beginner rider, you owe it to yourself to swing a leg over one of these and see how it feels, you know? See what it's like.
There's a lot of room to grow with that motorcycle.
Oh, a
You can
lot
keep
of
for
room
a
to
couple
grow.
of years.
Absolutely. But when you do want to step it up, I do think the Turbo Busa has a higher potential for, you know, a little more power at the bottom end. Obviously, we're just shit posting here. This is a god-awful beginner bike. This is truly a ridiculous motorcycling experience. I
Like
just cannot believe the torque it has.
Yeah, it almost got away from me when we were pulling out of the shop. I was getting on it a little bit in second, then suddenly I was looking at the sky and I went to grab the brake and I missed and my feet came off and I was like, where am I going? The bike was fully in charge at that point.
One thing that I do like about this though, and you mentioned this to me, unlike the Hayabusa, you know, I've got this thing at 3,000 RPM right now, third gear. This feels like a normal motorcycle. You know, you just got to mind the throttle a little bit more than usual because it does have a prodigious amount of low-end torque. But man, I'm cruising with it right now. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just on a bike, like no biggie.
Yeah, it's really a usable motorcycle, which is what makes it so kind of baffling. You know, they've tamed 180 fire-breathing horsepower and just they made it a bike that you could commute on. That thing is ridiculously comfortable for me.
Yeah, no, it fits really nice. I really like the way this bike fits. Gosh, it's a good machine. It's exactly what I like in a motorcycle. Just stupid torque, nice upright ergos, and it happens to be orange, which is cool.
Where did that thing come from, man?
Oh, there's just a beginner bike giveaway series. I just picked it up. You know how it goes.
Just bikes for days, apparently.
So the big thing I wanted to do with this part of our test is show how ridiculous that bike is versus a normal-ish bike like the 650, which is not a slow motorcycle. But if you just kind of want to roll onto the gears, I'll try to keep up.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing.
That wasn't that. I really wasn't squeezing at all. That was like, I don't know, a quarter to 50-ish% throttle.
Yeah, I was wide open for the whole time. Just desperately trying to keep up.
And I will say, I have put this motorcycle back into street mode from sport mode because sport was too silly.
Yes, I agree. I had that thing in sport mode, and I think it's just too ridiculous. I think street mode serves it really quite well.
Yeah, the throttle response is pretty smooth, and that's one of the nice things about this bike. Even though it is super duper raw, you do have some of the early permutations of the safety features that you see in other motorcycles. So it helps rein it in a little bit, but it's still just an animal, you know. All right, I just put it in 6th gear, and you can see how bad it's shaking, but away we go.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like you're taking off at full speed on a 650, you know?
Yeah, I literally, the bike is just, it's one of those things where it just accelerates more and more, and the speed can get away from you because it's still really smooth.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't shake and rattle or do weird stuff. It's really baffling how well put together this motorcycle is and what they've accomplished with it. You know, I could sit on this motorcycle all day, literally all day.
Yeah, the ergonomics package on that machine is very, very amenable. It's not too dissimilar from the Z650, to be honest. The bars are a little bit wider, but you know, besides the seat being a little taller, it's still got that same kind of goofy, almost motardy kind of feel to it. Now, the one thing I wanted to point out is that bike, despite having specs that, you know, on the one hand look similar to a Hayabusa, on the other hand look more similar like an R1, it really is its own animal. It's so different from a Busa. It's so different from an R1. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, we were talking about this a little earlier on D-Way. It's just, the R1 completely reshaped my understanding of speed in an instant. And this motorcycle is fast. It's really fast, and the torque is prodigious. But it's an eminently rideable motorcycle. It's if you respect it, it's completely happy to just do this. And so it's not, I think it's earth-shattering, it's amazing, but it's also very simple. And don't know. It doesn't really wow if you don't want it to, which is kind of cool.
The thing I like about it too, over something like the R1 or the Hayabusa, is because it's a naked bike, because it has all that, you know, kind of fun flavor to it. It's way more playful than those bikes.
Yes.
That's a bike that you really want to squeeze the throttle and feel it, you know, kind of lift the front wheel a little bit. It's sort of a hyper hooligan machine, but it's still a hooligan machine and still quite fun to ride.
Yeah, it doesn't feel super serious. You again, you have to respect that right hand. It is the hand of God. You will have 108 foot-pounds of torque just right there for you. I mean, it'll get up and go, but you can enjoy it.
It's got to be one of the best V-twins.
Yeah, I mean, the LC8 engine has been around for a while, and it's just, they've tweaked and perfected it. It's a very good engine.
Yeah, it is really awesome. We were talking about this earlier, and I really think that, you know, Harley boys, you owe it to yourself to ride a Super Duke. You don't know torque. You don't know power. Ride a Super Duke, and then tell me your Harley still feels good. You do that for me.
I can just see the comment section lighting on fire in front of me.
All these paragraphs. First of all, you don't understand. Actually,
you can't compare the Super Duke to the Sportster. You can't compare it to the Dyna, man. They do different stuff, dude.
You can't compare anything to anything.
Well, I think that rounds out a pretty good day of riding, and I think we proved that the Super Duke is definitely one of a kind.
Wait, Spite, you want to stop riding? We got it the whole day.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. We could take it back out there.
Yeah, video doesn't have to end right now. Here, Josh, come here. Josh, come on, give me the camera.
All right, okay, here you go. You want me to ride the Super Duke?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Well, you're gonna have some fun, that's for sure.
It's a naked. It's just like an SV, right?
Sure, yeah, it's just
Basically,
like an SV, yeah.
SV6.
Just like an SV.
And we're sitting on a bunch of dirt, too. Okay, no big deal.
Come on, man, people take 180 horsepower off-road all the time.
No big deal.
Now, Josh, we know that bike's not as good as your SV650, but if you can try to give us a good, you know, first impression on it, I would appreciate it.
First impression on it, yeah, you're right. It's definitely not an SV, but it's still all right.
I mean, it's only putting down it's got double the displacement and almost triple the horsepower.
Wow, the two cylinders really thump. Like the vibration is kind of slow, I guess, compared to like a parallel twin type bike or so. But it's very punchy. The vibration's coming off it. I'm not talking about the torque that you feel on the throttle or anything.
It is so funny for me, having ridden that bike around a whole bunch and then getting on the Z650, just how comically small this thing feels.
Yeah.
And how just slow. Like, this is just painfully slow to me now.
Yeah. Big bikes like that really tend to warp your perception of motorcycling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In
You
a way
said earlier.
You're just tippy-toeing that motorcycle, huh?
I know. That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah. And I can do it just fine. I don't feel, compromised riding it. But man, if I couldn't learn. But no, who's gonna learn on a Super Duke?
Well, we said it's the best beginner bike, right, Spike?
Yeah, unless you really plan on keeping it for more than a year, in which case you got to get the Turbo Busa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really a stepping stone type of motorcycle.
Understandable. There will 100% be someone in the comments like, I started on a Super Duke and I could barely touch the ground.
All right,
I'm still alive.
Right now in the video, if anyone actually started on a Super Duke, leave a comment down below and let me know if you're still alive and with us. Because I genuinely don't believe anyone who started on that bike is actually still around and with us and hasn't just given up motorcycling in general.
Yep.
Because I've been riding bikes for 4.5, 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I've never had a motorcycle just like suddenly I'm looking at the sky.
Yeah.
And that motorcycle did that to me today, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, it scared me to see you do that. I mean, I don't think I've taken this above 6,000 RPMs just because I'm so shaken up.
How much throttle would you say you've given it, Josh?
30%. 40% max.
You gotta get it on the highway, man. You gotta feel it.
Yeah, nothing about this feels playful right now. It definitely feels more like angry and aggressive. The way it accelerates, how twitchy the throttle is, like, I mean, as soon as you twist it, it starts really pulling you. You feel it when you're changing gears. Yeah, you were talking about the power on tap, and it's ridiculous. And I haven't even touched it. It needs about, half the cubes. I'm good with 2 cylinders, about half the cubes, 70 horsepower, somewhere right in there. This would be perfect.
And it had a weird little S badge on it for maybe Suzuki. Yeah. Then it would be perfect.
Exactly.
All right, Godspeed, Josh. Don't kill yourself.
Yep. Don't loop it.
All right.
Oh, he's gone.
God, he just disappeared.
Man, this thing is ridiculously fast. Golly.
You got like a solid mile ahead of you if you want to let it stretch its legs.
Clear runway if you want to stretch it.
Goodbye.
All right, so rounding things out today with the Super Duke, we brought it back and wanted to bring in the owner, Michael, ask him a couple of questions about the bike because we figured, hey, we've never seen an owner in one of these videos before. So this is your bike and it's unbelievable, man. It's really, really cool.
Thank you.
And it's a ton of fun. And the main thing I wanted to ask you is, why did you buy such an animal to ride around on the street?
Well, if I were to sum it up, great marketing and a dealership. One of the things that I've always found that was important to me as a rider was having sort of a practical bike. So I started on an ER6N, which of course is a naked bike. This is in San Francisco. And I'll never forget when I took the MSF course, my instructor had a 990 Super Duke. And I remember looking at it, I was like, one day I'll be ready. And sure enough, 2 years later, I'm riding my ER6N and I go to a dealer and there's the 990 Super Duke for like $8 grand. And I was like, okay, I have to buy it. So that introduced me to a bike that was still somewhat practical because it was comfortable, but also insane. And then of course, a couple years go by and I see the prototype for the 1290 and I'm just like, well, this is just more of what I really, really like. And same story, I walk into the dealership one day, there it is on sale. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this bike, but just naked bikes in general. You get all the fun of a sport motor with all the comfort of a standard and less fairings to have to fix if it gets kicked over. Because I'm coming from San Francisco where bikes get kicked over. And there's a little ding right here, but that's it. Everywhere else, nice and clean. So I love it.
So what's your favorite thing if you had to distill it down to one thing about this bike? What could you not live without?
I think I am spoiled rotten by the fire hose of torque. And I think torque just in general. There's just something to be said for instant input output.
Right.
And anytime I ride an inline four, they're great, but it's just not the same. You know, I like being, I like my brakes having an initial bite. I like my engine having an initial bite. So torque.
Yeah, I mean, if you want torque, this is basically the best bike for it out there. I mean, we talk about the MT10, we've ridden that on the channel. We talk about the Busa, we've ridden that. This thing is it's just so much snappier. And I guess my next question is, why'd you put it up on Twisted Road?
Oh, great question. Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I do run an Airbnb, a vacation rental here. And so I formed an LLC to get some income, some side income. And I thought like, well, I get to do all these great write-offs, for my house. And then I saw Twisted Road and some buddies had ridden it and they all got these sweet ass bikes. I said, well, my bike's gonna fit in just great there. And then guess what? The bike's a business expense. So that is legal. So my insurance, my gas, actually my payment, technically, if I do it right, could be a pseudo write-off. But more importantly, it's just so much fun to have people who come from all over the country, all over the region, who just want to ride a bike that I know a lot of people never got a chance to. This is one of those kind of bikes. It's not like your run-of-the-mill Bonneville or, you know, or a Harley.
Yep.
This is a Super Duke. So if you want to do it, find me on Twisted Road.
I mean, that's a perfect way to end it. If you want to ride a bike like this, click that link down below. We'll get a free day of riding, and you could be riding a Super Duke. So what's not to love, right?
Ah, bummer for you, my little squid. This video is actually over. But lucky for you, there's plenty of other Yammie videos you can check out right over here. What's gonna happen to them? I don't know. I haven't seen them, but you can watch them right now.